Hey everybody, welcome to the Unpopular Wrestling Opinion Show, the show where I curate hot takes on professional wrestling from probably the most respected platform of well thought out and meaningful opinions, Twitter. I am your host from the Smack Draw podcast, Kyle, and joining me this evening are three panelists who will ultimately be the ones deciding whether your take is valid or if it's trash. First up, fellow SRP show host from the NXT recaps and YouTuber Mean Jelly Bean Productions. It's my personal friend, RN. How's it going, my friend?
What's good, boss man? Haven't done a show with you in a little bit.
Yeah, I know, man. I've missed you over on NXT. How was the Great American Bash Part 2?
It was actually pretty decent. They were all like losing it over Keith Lee winning and stuff. So,
spoiler. Man, you missed out. You could have plugged your recap show right there, and you missed the layup. RN, you got to get with it, my friend. Second.
It's only my second show back. I've been gone for a month and a half. Give me some slack.
All right. Second returning panelist from the debut episode and VP of Operations at WrestlingNewsWorld.com. Check it out. He's Steven's personal boss, Thomas.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me back. How is everyone?
I'm doing good, man. Glad you could come back, man. Glad you could come back this week. What was the most egregious tweet, if you remember, from last week?
It was that ratings and drawing money should not be a reflection of how someone should be a star in the business, I believe. I immediately crumbled it up, tossed it in a trash can, and told nobody they were able to reply.
That was so that was the video clip I sent to LSG to promote the show. All right. And lastly, Monster Factory Grand Slam champion, former WrestlePro Silver champion. You guys know him from Ring of Honor as part of the tag team Coast to Coast. And he is set to do battle with Jordan Oliver on Synergy Pro Wrestling's July 11th show, Fight for the First Responders, on pay-per-view via Fight. It is Leon St. Giovanni, LSG, my friend.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, good to have you, bro.
Yo, dude, I didn't watch Great American Bash yet. You spoiled it for me.
Oh, come on, man. Well, go back and listen to the recap.
RN, dude. You already messing up, man.
Messing up our hashtag mute RN.
It's our first big guest, and you've already got some heat on us. Okay. So, all right, you guys. I've kind of gone over this with you. I'm just going to sit here, read off some tweets. You guys determine whether or not it's trash or it's valid. And we'll either push through with it or we'll yeet it out of existence. All right. Speaking of which, let me line up these sound effects here. Okay. Yep. So that's for that one. Yeah. That's for that one. Sweet. Okay. All right. So first tweet of the night, coming to us from Savage Atika. Unpopular opinion, but Mauro Ranallo isn't that great. Y'all go ahead and start. I won't designate anybody.
I'm 50-50 on this one because some nights he isn't that great. Some nights he is.
Okay, I disagree. I think Marlo's fantastic. I think anybody who's put into that position should have to understand how much of a struggle it is with the voices in your ears constantly and trying to perform. I have no issue with Morrow.
What's your take on
I'm going to say that opinion is trash. To me, he's the best guy right now in the business. I love his excitement. It reminds me of when I was a kid. And he knows his stuff. He's so educated, and not only with wrestling, but with mixed martial arts. So I love listening to him.
Yeah. I guess why I'm half on with it is because this new 3-man team with Todd, like he doesn't go with him and I always forget her name, but the Glamazon. They don't like. He just like Todd just like randomly says stuff, and like you can feel like Mar and her in their groove, and then they'll hold off to give him a chance to jump in and say something. And I think it just kind of throws off what they have going.
But I can't blame Morrow for that. When you put two lead guys on the same 3-person panel, you're going to experience those jump-ins back and forth.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
maybe.
All right, I guess you guys changed me. I guess.
All right, man.
Maybe the combination doesn't work, but I think he's just.
Yeah, no. To me, he's the best. He's besides Graves, he's the best they have on in all their shows. To me.
Well, sorry, Savage. Your opinion is trash. All right. Let's get him moving. Let's get him out of there. All right, what's up next? These are in no particular order this week. I did not have time, by the way. So some of these actually were curated by our buddy over at Smacking It Raw podcast, and didn't even throw unpopular opinion in the title, but Matt Ritter decided himself these are unpopular opinions. He says Okada is a better wrestler than anybody in WWE, whether it be Raw, SmackDown, or NXT.
Is that a hot take?
Hey, look, like I said,
it's his opinion, right?
Matt. This is one from Matt. So
this is his personal opinion, right?
Some of these are opinions. Well, I think they're all opinions.
For him, to have an opinion, though, and not. But he wasn't making. Was he making a factual statement, or was he making an opinion?
So I know where Thomas lies on this one.
I don't have an issue with somebody thinking that somebody else is the best wrestler or worker in the world. I don't. I think that's their opinion. I think if he would have came out and said X is the best worker in the world, and we all would have said who is X, he may have struggled there. But I don't think this was that out there.
So in your opinion, Okada does beat everybody on the WWE roster?
No, I just don't think that the opinion is that egregious for it to be trash.
Yeah, I don't think it's that hot of a take either. I mean, I don't agree with it per se, but I don't think that's not some shit that's out like way out there. Like, I mean,
not bad. Only 2 tweets in, and we actually got one we don't think is trash, unless LSG.
No, I don't think it's not trash.
That's not trash.
No, it's not. Plus, I don't want to say anything wrong. I don't want him to Rainmaker close on my name. I like him. I like him a lot.
All right, man. Way to go. Actually, dude, I think it took us like 13 tweets last week before we got to one that we liked. All right, third up. Jake Hager is one of those greater than memes. Jake Hager greater than Brock Lesnar by Ranger RF on YouTube.
That's a trash take.
Trash. Beyond trash.
Trash.
You know what's funny though? You know what's funny is it's no knock on Hager, right?
No.
But how do you compare him and Brock right now?
Even if you did
revolutionize the way that heavyweights are looked at in UFC. And
even if you use UFC, like Hager's got a great record in mixed martial arts, but Brock was the heavyweight champ there, so it's like
Also,
here you go. Hang on.
Yeah, Kobe.
Yeah. By the way, on a side note, just because I'm a big MMA fan too, as well, if you look at the competition Hager's actually fought compared to Brock, Hager is essentially fighting couch potatoes.
Yes, absolutely.
Brock was taking on the best people on the planet. All right, what's up next? Coming in, this guy was on here last week. I don't even know how to say this. Aga V6. He says, legends appearing in matches and making them botch fests may increase the interest for a short amount of time, but it hurts the business, and it takes away from the credibility of the younger talents.
This isn't trash to me. Like, we have this argument in our group chats all the time. Like, don't get me wrong, I love those legends when I was a kid and when they were actually hot. But to me, when you bring back these old-ass people besides Undertaker, when you bring back these other guys, you're taking away screen time from these younger dudes that you want to be stars, but you never prop them up. And every time it's a big show or something that comes around, you wheel out the wheelchairs for the people from the old folks home to bring in the casual viewer. Like, I'm against it. I always have been.
All right, so RN's on this guy's side.
I'm going to say that I don't totally agree with you on that because, they're part-timers. They're not getting all the spotlight all the time. And everyone knows at the end of the day, it's a business. And it's like, they're going to get a good reaction. At the end of the day, majority of the crowd, they're not like us. They're not going to be super educated people like us.
Yeah.
We're a minority. I mean, the fan base is getting smarter, but right now we're still the minority.
I didn't necessarily mean like taking away like super screen time, but like when we were kids during the Attitude Era, they weren't rolling out people from the 70s and 80s.
You're right.
When there was a big pay-per-view at WrestleMania, if they did bring back a bunch of the old guys, they'd have like a spot for them in the back or a vignette, and that'd be it. It wouldn't be them actually being in matches and taking away matches from other people, younger guys on the card, and then you complain about these guys not stepping up and taking the brass ring. Where every time there's a big stage, you bring in a bunch of old guys to push them back down further on the card.
Listen, I think when you look at pro wrestling and you look at the history of the business over the last 100, 150 years, or whatever you want to look at, right? You always have those veterans who come back. Maybe it's one or two more matches after they weren't supposed to, hypothetically speaking. We've seen this in the history of the business. A lot of the time it's to give a younger worker that rub, though. A lot of the time it's not to hold that spotlight. And as LSG pointed out, they're not holding 40 minutes of the show. You know, they may have a 5-minute, 6-minute segment. And it's a business. So if that person is still popping ratings and making money, yes, it is important.
Yeah, because if you bring back a legend and you know they're going to elicit a great reaction from the crowd and they're going to bring in ratings, why relegate them to a backstage interview?
Like, look at how well Hulk Hogan and The Rock did at WrestleMania. And we look back, and that was absolutely way past Hogan's prime.
But
look at that match in general.
Yeah, but he was an active member of the roster, though. He wasn't retired, and they brought Dustin.
Was he?
mean, yeah, he was in matches. He was a tag team with Edge and all that shit. I mean, he was there.
He was still working 15 dates a year. I get what you're saying, though. More active than, let's say, a Brock Lesnar, I guess.
To be fair,
which I'm not okay with that either. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. He's dope, and he is a great champion when he's there, but your belt shouldn't be off of TV 6 months out of the damn year. Like, I don't agree with that either. So
I hear you, RN, but I think you're outnumbered on this one. Once again, Agav6, I don't know your name, man, but your opinion is
when
straight.
something.
All right. And by the way, to speak to your point, RN, I think you're forgetting the gimmick battle royal. They brought a whole bunch of old guys back then.
I'm not mad at that. I'll take that. Throw they old. Yeah, throw their old asses in there and let us see who can roll out of the ring.
Sarge won that, didn't he? I think he did. I can't remember. Up next, rated R facts. One of those greater than opinions. Tegan Knox greater than Charlotte Flair.
Why? What? Like, why?
Listen, I had to grab these in a hurry. Some of them are a little bit more silly than others, okay?
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you listen to our NXT show, shout us out, #SmackNXT. I'm a Tegan Knox stan, but like this is like
we need
I need some
buzzer
paper
just to skip questions like this.
Yeah, like
the buzzer, and we just move on, right? I'm not going to spend any more time. There's a trash opinion.
Move on, next.
Trash.
That's trash, man.
That's dumpster fire trash.
Oh shit. Like, so to explain why some of these are a little bit more.
You're comparing which will go down as one of the greatest women workers in the history of this business.
Women's workers? You mean greatest workers, period, man or woman?
Sure, absolutely.
She's the GOAT, bro. She's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I've always said this. She's like,
I don't get heat on.
Charlotte's one of those people where a lot of people right now that don't appreciate her are going to appreciate the hell out of her in 10 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of Randy Orton, not to get too off subject, right? There's a lot of people that don't appreciate what he's done over the last 5-10 years who are now starting to see, as he gets older, some of those aspects of what he's so good at. Yeah. And I unfortunately think Charlotte's going to be the same way. It's going to take longer for fans to realize
that they're witnessing, like, history, essentially, with her. Next up, Adult Memes says, I have a very unpopular opinion that Jinder Mahal made a better heavyweight champ than Sheamus.
I'm done. I'm out. Anybody else?
I mean,
I agree.
LSG likes him, man.
I love me some Jinder Mahal.
I do too. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, which run for Sheamus are we talking about?
I can't even remember.
You're saying that Jinder had I don't care who you like, we're saying Jinder's run on top, never getting to actually defend the title in India, which was the whole goddamn point to start with, and never even making it there was a better run than a Sheamus run, which were also not great runs, okay?
I can't even remember a Sheamus run. But for me,
I can remember him beating Daniel Bryan in 8 seconds. That's
right.
The only one I can remember.
I remember that couple months he had after he cashed in on Roman Reigns and then lost it like 2 pay-per-views later.
Wasn't that when they were doing like that, the world gimmick or whatever, when they were all together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so it actually.
I don't know in this one.
I think Thomas is outnumbered here. Okay.
Yeah, I think I lost this one.
Yeah, Thomas lost this one. All right.
Oh yeah.
Already actually treating these guys a little bit nicer than we did last week.
These aren't. A lot of these haven't been far fetched. I mean, let's.
Yeah. So, like I said, to explain why some of these are kind of just like hastily put on here, I actually had a list that had very good unpopular opinions. But when I went back to it today, the tweet thread had been deleted. So last second, I had to create this whole list. Then, it was slim pickings. I'm not gonna lie. Up next, another, like I said, kind of just personal take. You guys, you either go with it or you don't. Coming from us from Ant Won't Stop. The Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy feud does nothing for me.
I haven't been watching enough AEW to comment on. I'm not caught up yet, but I just know that to me, like, I'm not an AEW guy in any way, shape, or form. But right now, Chris Jericho is the best wrestler in the world to me. I guess it's trash.
I don't understand where the opinion comes from. I think Chris is doing some of his. I mean, the guy reinvents himself every 5 years, it seems like, right? And we always say Jericho's doing some of his best work, and it seems like a repeat every 5 years or so. He's doing something
like
different.
clockwork.
Yeah, but what he's doing with Orange is so different, and it's so fun. And you know what? If you're not in this business and you understand that it's okay to be different and fun, then that's a problem too. I don't like this opinion.
All right.
It's giving a young guy the rub.
I don't like it either. I mean, this is, first of all, I have a different, I guess, perspective because I've seen Orange Cassidy on events that I've been on. So it's,
Absolutely.
for me, it's awesome to see this. So I love
Hell yeah.
Jericho, while improving his own character and evolving every few years, he's also elevating everyone around him.
Facts.
Like, I fully believe this. Like, okay, it might not be your cup of tea with what Orange Cassidy's doing. This dude is going to be mainstream. I can put down Jimmy Fallon. Like,
you know what? I don't think most people understand how charismatic and good he is in the ring.
And how I was just about to say, like, he actually can go in the ring. Like, he's dope.
But that's where I think the problem comes in, though. A lot of these people are so short-sighted that they won't even go online to look up history or film. Can this guy go? They're basing off the character. Where it's like, look at the history of the business. WWE had so many characters that could actually go back in the day, but never got that chance.
Mm-hmm.
Orange is going to get the chance in AEW. He's already showing it. I think it's working fine.
I know Chris Lee is canceled, but I mean, once he talked about him on his podcast and shit, and like wore the T-shirt, like, I mean, come on, bro. Like, I don't know what this guy's deal is. Trash.
Yeah. I'm with you. I like Matt Ritter's take on Orange Cassidy. He said he has to enjoy somebody that has gotten as huge as they are by doing as little as possible.
Work smarter, not harder.
That's right. All right. Let's go ahead and get to the next one here. Coming into from us, the real Tayeb. Michael Cole is the most underrated or underappreciated commentator in history. I don't know, man. I think people appreciate Michael Cole.
No, I think I agree with this one for real. Because we sometimes forget how long he's been there and how many other people he's worked with, and how he's remained the constant voice of WWE for what, 10, 15 years now, or longer. That's what I'm saying. So I think this is trash.
LSG?
Trash. Yeah.
I think Michael Cole is underappreciated in the wrestling business in general by most people. I don't think most people understand the amount of work that man actually does behind the scenes as well.
Doesn't he trains all the commentators and everybody, doesn't he, pretty much?
So much. He's so much more.
Everybody that works for WWE, from the officials to commentators to wrestlers, they all have multiple roles. They're doing different things. They're doing jobs. People don't realize how much work he's doing. He's not just showing up at the TV and doing commentary. He's so much doing behind the scenes that he'll never go out there and he's never going to pat himself on the back.
Nope.
So I love people who just work and do their job and never beg for praise.
And didn't he start out like on the when they sold their merchandise, whatever it was called, when they had the little show vignette thing to sell the T-shirts and stuff? Then he started off there, and now he's literally does
doing,
all the commentary, everything for everybody.
He was doing interviews with The Rock and just getting roasted week in and week out by The Rock. Man.
DX2 giving him wedgies up to his damn hairline.
So actually, no. That tweet wasn't trash. Actually, that tweet was valid because he said he was underappreciated. Oh, my bad. Yeeted it off. Let me take back that yeet. Yeah, and I'll go.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. All right, let's Jesus. Look, I apologize in advance. At Ecstasy Vales says Dolph Ziggler should beat McIntyre at Extreme Rules.
I'm not moving forward. I'm out.
Look, man. I'm sorry. All right. Look.
Anybody else want to comment?
Anyone want to defend this? No. Look, we'll just quietly.
Oh.
I mean, I can see kind of where they're thinking is, but not versus
Not the
Drew.
madness.
Don't
Come on now.
This RN. Look, man.
He has fans out there. He has fans out there.
No.
God, no, it's gone.
Hell no, man.
I deleted it too. It's gone. Actually,
We're giving these guys their 15 minutes of fame.
No, yeah, exactly.
I'm
Some of them we shouldn't. Okay, this at Tim 412 Tater. Tuesdays and Wednesday nights are the best nights for wrestling.
That's a trash take.
Really?
I think you can enjoy whatever you want to, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Monday, or a Friday. When I say this also because when you look at it, I don't think you can direct that towards more than one company. I think he's completely involving that as an AEW tweet. That's how I view it.
Well, and NXT, I would think. Although NXT doesn't do anything for Tuesdays, but
right.
Doesn't Impact come on Tuesdays?
No, Thursdays now.
Thursdays. I always watch it on Friday, so I don't know when the hell it comes. I don't get the channel.
I never watch anything live, so to me,
yeah,
right. Exactly. I mean, and you hit the nail on the head, LSG. I mean, how many of us get back after a few days or after work and they go, okay, I need to watch X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
It's not so much, hey, I need to get home at 8 to watch this.
Yeah. I can't remember the last time I sat down and watched NXT or AEW live. Like,
Yeah, I still got.
NXT's the only thing I watch live. NXT's the only thing I watch live. Raw every now and then. But for the most part, NXT is the only thing I watch live. Everything else is days after it happens. So I think this one's trash.
All right. Yeah, surprisingly, hey, I thought this was going to be valid, but hey, even I can be wrong. Goodbye. All right. By the way, Thomas, your boy Colby's acting a fool in the chat. And then Matt Ritter says he's got something for us to fire you guys up. I'll get to it whenever they come around. All right, moving on. Oh shoot. Okay. Now you know what? I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go ahead and eat this. I'm not even gonna bother.
Oh boy.
That bad?
No, it's not that it's that bad. This shouldn't even have made it on the show. But hey, we'll give the guy some spotlight. The Habiki TMD says, "Unpopular Wrestling Opinion. I like Kenny Omega's theme. It's a theme. I don't know. Like I said, I grabbed some of these like really fast.
I don't even remember what it sounds like.
Exactly.
I don't either.
I feel bad. I don't.
You know what? We'll
here's the thing. Here's the thing with themes, right? I think a good theme is something that you remember. I don't necessarily need to know if it like. All right, we're not talking Voodoo Child Hogan, right? It doesn't have to be that good, but it needs to fit the character. So if it's the person and it fits their character, it's a good theme. I just have no idea what Omega's music is right now.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a good one either. Like, my girlfriend completely hates this Rebel Heart, but she sings it all the time. Every time Johnny Gargano comes out, she's like, oh, that's not his theme anymore.
I'll give you guys a quick question on the side. Who's got the best theme in wrestling right now?
Ooh. That's a good one.
I have a few that I like.
Yeah, you got a few?
Randy's is high up there for me.
Randy's always one that comes up to my mind because I think it's very good.
I mean,
I love Edge.
I know that whole song.
He came back.
You gotta go Jericho.
Edge came back. It's up there.
I'm with you, LSG.
Oh yeah, Jericho.
Judas.
You know,
Jericho's
Judas.
amazing.
I don't know. I guess people don't agree with me. I really love like Dakota Kai's and I love Bayley's. Their heel, the change.
Yeah, I like Bailey's too.
They got harder music than the guys do. Like,
Yeah.
Speaking of which, did anyone notice how closely Bailey's theme sounds to The Rock's old theme?
Yeah. Somebody pointed that out on Twitter, and they played them like side by side or
Yeah,
whatever.
Does it have the same bars? Is that what they're referring to?
I believe like just The Rock's original theme back like when Stone Cold's like glass.
Yeah, the original. Right.
Yeah.
No, but Judas at Revolution with the choir, like we watch that like on Twitter probably once or twice a week and sing it as a family.
And yeah,
Real
when
shit.
you have live crowds, people sing the shit.
I
out of
remember
that
when
song.
Nakamura debuted on SmackDown.
Yes.
And how nuts the violinist playing everything too.
Yeah.
It was
What
so
was-
over. Every fan
that
sung
few
with
weeks
him.
ago. I was watching a few weeks ago. I still got chills from that.
Yeah.
What was the takeover where we had it was like 15 damn violinists. Like every stop he made, it was another person playing the violin. Which takeover was that? Toronto?
It was a fall show. I know exactly what you're talking about. It was one of the fall shows.
Yeah, that was
very
probably
good.
one of my favorite entrances ever. And then they all came, just started, were all around the ring in the middle while he was in the middle to finish it. Like, yeah, I forgot about that one. That was dope too.
I gotta go with AJ Styles too. I just love his.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't want none.
It's funny too. From the second that AJ debuted, not to get too off topic, but it's like, does this work? Does it not? And you know,
Yes, but it
into
does.
that theme song, yeah. And it's so good.
I don't know about
Listen,
you guys, but I've watched his debut, the clip, like more than anything, like the last 5 years. There are days where I just put it on and I'm like having it on loop, and I'm just like,
What I mean,
That
being honest,
debut
is
at
that
the Royal Rumble is one of the best
that's
debuts ever, man.
well, it literally you think within the last 5-6 years, that's the best oh shit moment we've had. Like we haven't had anything where we were surprised or like that was and came up with the new interest and everything on top of it. Like I don't think we've had anything better than that. At least not recently, for sure.
I think Moxley coming out of Double or Nothing was pretty big.
That
for
was
a surprise.
huge. Well,
I'm not a Gene Ambrose fan.
I get it, but
Yeah.
I think you're talking from a surprise value
Well,
standpoint,
not
right?
only that,
Well, yeah.
our end's a
Yeah,
notorious,
you're right.
like,
But he
notorious-
popped the crowd there. I mean, I was live, and that place was pretty.
I'll give you
insane.
that. That was. I could say that. Now I wouldn't put it quite up there with AJ, but I mean, if the last year, 2 years, for sure. Yeah, they did kind
that
of go
crowd
crazy
was
for
rabid,
Jimmy.
man, when he came out.
It was.
Yeah. Shit, lost my thought. All right, on to the next one. All right. Coming in from Monsoon Deluge, Kenny Omega should actually be the one to turn heel on Hangman. All right, I'm sorry for all the AEW stuff, man.
I don't care. I mean, I'll catch up. I'm only a couple weeks behind.
And then they top off the tweet with saying, "Big yeehaw."
I agree with this one.
Could Kenny be heel, man?
Yeah.
Right now?
If you watch any of the New Japan stuff, I mean, to me, he needs to be because right now everyone's down on him. Everyone thinks that he's too goofy. Everyone thinks that he doesn't really have a character for you to latch on to. I feel like him turning heel instead of Hangman is the way to go.
LSG, you want to go ahead?
I can't say. Honestly, I don't have an opinion on it.
I'm gonna jump in on this one, right? So here's how I feel. I feel Kenny Omega is one of those talents that can be a heel or a face or do whatever he needs to on screen. Okay,
Yeah.
he can put it together. I don't like this opinion for the following reasons. I think they'd be better off with a Horseman managed group by like a Tully, with Hangman leading them, with FTR and with Shawn Spears. I think if you break away Page that way and give him a strong backing as the heel, you can make your next big heel in the company. But you can also build the face of your company, which was always the plan, to go with Omega.
Yeah.
Which I think they botched all of that. To me, like when you have arguably the best.
I can't
Now, I was gonna say, if you have arguably the-
though.
Not I'm saying like starting out the gate, not so much now because him and Hangman work and it gives him a spot where he's not close to the title, which is what they're gunning for. But my thing is when you start a company with arguably the best wrestler, number one wrestler in the world, and then you stumble out the gate like they did with him, like to me, I think that I'm not even necessarily saying that Jericho shouldn't have been the first champ, but I feel like they should have built more starting out with Omega being, as like I said, at the time when all this was getting going, he was pretty much thought of as the best wrestler in the world.
Sure, I mean, hindsight's 2020. We look back because there are things we could have changed, things we might have wanted to. Sure, but at the end of the day, right now, they're still in a good position where they can do the major babyface run with Omega, the major heel run with Paige, or hell, if they wanted to throw it up in the air, they can do either. They can turn Kenny heel. They have opportunities, I guess. So that's why I don't think.
Well, my thing is like I am a Omega stan. Like I said, I'm not that keen on AEW. I watch it. I'm kind of behind because I do NXT. But like I feel like American fans have not got what we got from Japan. Like they have not seen the 5-star match Kenny. They have not seen the cleaner, all the stuff that we loved that he did with Bullet Club. I don't think that the American fans get who Kenny Omega is as a character.
Didn't you get a match with Kenny and Hangman versus the Bucks that most people revere as one of the best American tag team matches ever?
It was really good.
But listen to what you just said. Best American tag team matches. I'm talking about a one-on-one match like with him and Okada.
No, I get what you're saying, but you need to have a dance partner with him there that is Okada. And I'm sorry, not everyone's Okada. It's not that Kenny can pull off or not pull off.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying about the match quality or anything. I'm saying like no, the American fans don't know what Kenny Omega's character is. Like no one knows who or what Kenny Omega is.
There's time.
That's what I'm saying.
There's time. Slow climb. There's no need to blow it out. Let other guys get the spotlight right now. They know Kenny.
Yep. My take on AEW's. Oh, sorry, Art. I didn't mean to cut you off, LSG.
Oh, you're good. You're good, man.
I said my take was I think AEW tried to avoid like severe nepotism when they started.
Yeah, they did absolutely.
I think that's why. So let someone take over. Like that's why you had the Young Bucks losing the Private Party and. Keeping Kenny out of the title picture. I feel like they did not want to come across like WCW where it was like a group of friends held all the gold or something.
Right, and I think at the end of the day they know that they're going to be successful, so why not elevate everyone around them first? Elevate everybody first, then you'll join the fun. I think we're okay.
I'm with I won't go any further. I'm with LSG. Like you have to have the time to. If he's the biggest star in your company, that's fine. But it's when you want to pull the trigger on him. He's already made. Can I make anybody else in that first year or that first 18 months kind of thing?
Which, like I said, I don't disagree with any of that. I just think that compared to Cody and the Bucks, I don't think he was as made in the States as those two as they were. Is what I'm saying.
He didn't wrestle in the States as much as them either, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. We don't have enough of them besides the tag team.
Okay.
Matt's in here saying preach it, RN, by the way. But anyways, yeah. So this opinion's trash. All right.
I lost this one. It's all right.
It's okay. All right, here we go. Shit. I thought I made sure I had the whole Twitter handle in here. I don't. So, sorry, guy. Cody being chosen as TNT champion reeks of, in his words, I help run the company. I want attention.
Trash.
Absolute trash.
Yeah.
Trash.
That's, dude.
These are uneducated opinions. Ignorance.
He may be the best babyface in the entire world.
Did that person also write last week that ratings and drawing money don't matter in the division?
It's on that level, right?
Just asking.
Not the same guy, but yeah, it's on that level. All right.
And my thing is like, whenever you got a new belt, I feel like you should always put it on an established star, or else you need something to prop that title up and make it look like it means something. So why not with the biggest babyface in the fucking world?
It's how you build the presentation, the importance of a title. It's not the person, it's not the title. You have that great combination that comes together, that they can work together. The person to make the belt to make the person. But when that happy marriage comes together, it works great. I like Cody's run as TNT champion.
I do too. I like Cody's run I like everything about his run in general. Like to me, like I didn't think I'd be like him so much as a babyface because I feel like to me he's just a natural heel, especially with the suits and just that glare and everything. But every time he talks, like I'm wrapped up in this shit. Like I'm like I feel like a schoolgirl, like those girls that was like screaming at an NSYNC concert and shit. Like that's how I feel every time Cody talks. I'm just like staring at the TV screen, like writing a heart around his name in a notebook.
Yeah, there's not a lot of things in wrestling that I can say like I look forward to because obviously a lot of things are telegraphed. You know a lot of things, but man, when and I'm not saying if, and I'm not saying next week, but when Cody does turn heel down the line, no matter how long it is,
Oh man, that's gonna be
it's
so
gonna be amazing to watch, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh
He's
yeah.
so good. He's such a good heel.
Yeah.
Such a good heel.
And then him finding a way to weasel himself back in the title picture when he goes heel because of the original stip.
Yeah.
Like, there's payoff all over, and I love payoff.
Facts.
I will say one thing. If there's any criticism I have about Cody, he could dial down his entrances just a little bit.
But why?
I think that's the best part.
Because landslide. They dump way more money into that dude's entrance than anybody else.
But when he turns heel, though, those entrances, they're heel entrances to me. Like, that's how a heel would come in. I think when he does turn heel, then it'll match up and pay off. Because that shit coming up with the dog and shit and everything, that's some heel shit coming to the ring with your dog and your wife.
One of my favorite heel entrances, though, and we can move on in a second.
Yeah.
Over the last 5-6 years was when Ciampa went no music, black screen, like classic traditional.
That's dope, man.
Yeah. Was he dragging out there the crutch or whatever when he would come out?
This was I think just before that he went. Yeah, he was probably dragging the crutch. Then you're right.
Yeah.
Just come out to a chorus of booze. That's how you do it, man. All right. I don't even remember if we if I yeeted them or not. Just to be safe, I'm gonna yeet them. There we go. And all right, so this next one, this one I kind of grabbed by mistake. It's not really about wrestling. I kind of just read it over too quickly. Are you guys familiar with like Twitter stan accounts by any chance?
Yeah.
They're like overly obsessive fan accounts about like one specific wrestler. This person's opinion was...
What do you call them?
Stan accounts is what
Stan
they call
accounts.
them.
Tears don't come, I'm wondering why.
Yeah, I was going to say... That's
where I thought it came from.
I have an opinion on this, and people are going to say it's trash probably, because I hate the word, or I hate the term stan. Because to me, that's like, you're violent, you're psychotic. Like, I don't want I don't want stans. No.
Yeah, no, nobody wants a stan.
No, that's a valid opinion. I'm going to go ahead and give you LSG.
Dude, I cringe.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. But some of these stan accounts are cringy and like why are you doing that? Like,
old fashioned, old school. I don't like it. Throw it out.
Yeah. All right. So the tweet was, we'll just get it out of the way. The tweet was, they're fucking creepy. Is what it is.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If your profile pic,
anytime you look at a human who's stalking somebody, like a stan,
Yeah.
who is overly stalking somebody, who's committing, like LSG had mentioned, criminal acts to pursue their fandism or craziness, you don't get to count. I'm sorry. Like, that's in any line of work. That's not just wrestling.
Yeah.
It goes for any sport, too. And I see it
That
more in
shit's
other
creepy.
sports, to be honest. Yeah.
I don't want any fans that are killing their pregnant girlfriend.
No. All right. So at Liam A. Stewart, we'll go ahead and validate this one.
I'm good.
Oh, yeah.
He had a part 2 to that. He had a part 2 to it, but I don't think it was.
We're not getting there.
No. It was completely off. It just said the NXT has the best women's wrestling in the Western side. I was like, that's not really unpopular.
That's not negotiable.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, that's
Yeah. No. All right. Next up, dang, we're burning through these this time. All right, man, we're making good time. All right. Kev for Kayfabe says the majority of Jim Cornette's takes on the state of wrestling today are right on the money.
besides the racist part and the sexist part. Some of them, I mean, some of them I do actually.
You can keep going. The anti-Semitic part, the anti-gay part. Where do you want to keep going?
When he talks about actual shit in the ring,
you're talking
some of the stuff I do
in the ring, or you're talking like things that happen in the ring. I get confused.
The stuff that's
about shit in ring.
That's what I was about to say. When it's with Jim, it may be both. I mean, that we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's just too toxic to go with anything he says. Because even when he does some real shit that you could listen to or actually take serious. Then he goes around and he comes back around and says some shit about gay people or Jewish people or black people, chicken wings and shit. So it's like
many chances does a human get to make themselves look like a complete and utter fool before we all go, he's a fool.
Yeah.
And he has perfect fucking jobs too, and he just screws it up every time.
All right, let's hear from LSG over here.
It's weird because, like, we all know he's kind of like on the left side of the spectrum with his political views. And it's weird because some days he says things and I'm like, oh man, he's on the money with, like, even with his social values. And then he contradicts himself with stupid stuff he says. I don't know if he just I guess he just doesn't have a filter, but like, I actually really like Jim Cornette, but he makes it hard to like him. I can't even say that out loud. Like, I think about it all the time. Like, I want to defend some of the stuff he says, but I'm like, I don't want some of my peers to like hate me. Like
LSG, that's the hardest part too, because like deep down inside the mind for wrestling is so there and it still ticks.
Yeah.
But every 3-4 days we get a comment that is so like, and I'm not playing politics, right? But there's a politician out there that does the same thing. Like every 3-4 days, you just cringe.
Facts.
And it's like, and actually it's like every 3-4 hours, but neither here nor there. But it's the same way. Like, how do you justify?
And that's the thing. Like he's a genius wrestling wise in the ring and stuff. But it's like, just don't say shit about stuff that doesn't have to do inside the ring. Just don't.
Here's an idea. When I think that my opinion may be kind of walking that fine line, I'll shoot someone a text. I'll call them. Hey, what do you feel about this? Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely not. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Like, I know that he has to have a group of people around him, but when
I don't think he does.
Point, do you even care to ask them, or are you so set in your ways that nothing is going to change you?
Yeah, so it's trash. It's absolutely trash.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought I had a moment to type into the live chat that I'm going to read off their chat once we're through all the opinions. Yeah, let's yeet you the fuck out of here, Kev for kayfabe. All right. Come on, man, let's go.
You know what's funny, by the way, and you can move on. I
go
think
ahead.
Jim is a booker. I actually like Jim's booking, but I mean,
yeah.
Neither here nor there.
Oh, here we go. This is actually a really recent take. At Grap Kick Wrestle, he says, I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion, but the new U.S. belt design, you guys have seen it, right?
Yes.
Is now my favorite belt in all of the WWE system out of all 4 shows. 3 shows, excuse me. Saying it's the best belt.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'll be quick.
I like it a lot.
I do too. I'm on board with it. I didn't at first.
That's not a bad. I'm cool with it.
Okay.
I mean, I pretty much got the same damn bird tattooed on my arm, like a tribal version of. I'm here for it. I'm definitely. I didn't like it at first, and then once I got the actual picture to look at it and shit, like this isn't too far of a hot take for me.
Not the screen grab off of the television show, but the actual photograph.
Yeah, not the one you put in the group chat either.
I'm super into traditional wrestling championships and title belts, so I really like the WCW US title.
Yeah.
I think at some point with the eagle in the middle, there was a play on that with someone who helped develop the title, obviously, right?
Yeah.
I think they went full 2020 with this title, and it's the first time they did that. They went as over the top as you could as far as the lettering goes, the colors go, and to make it pop. Let them try. I think it's too early for me to say if this title works or it doesn't. What I can say is this. It's different, and my first impression wasn't when I saw the 24/7 title and I said, what in the hell is that?
Yeah, it could have been worse. Or it's better than the Intercontinental title to me.
Debatable. My personal favorite's the North American Championship over on NXT. That's my personal favorite. All right, man.
The blue and the red's got to go. That's my opinion.
Yeah. All right, Reed. Good one. We like that.
Oh yeah.
I almost missed the thing. I forgot what I was going to say. I had something. I'll come back to it. All right, next up. For you Attitude Era fans out here, I think we're all old enough. This person just says that Sable wasn't all that back in the Attitude Era. They were actually much more into Trish.
Was Trish even technically Attitude Era? Wasn't she like a little bit afterwards? Or
I think she was Attitude Era. She'd get powerbombed through tables. That's Attitude.
All right, let me stop for a second. If we had pulled Sable's quarter numbers she did for ratings, I don't know if you can say she's overrated. Like,
back to numbers, man.
Dude, the woman at the time popped numbers, and I'm not saying she was the best wrestler in the world because she wouldn't say that herself, right?
Hey, she
could
powerbomb Mark Mero.
During that time, and during that era, it's what fans wanted.
The only two women I can even think of from that era is her and China. If I'm being 100% honest, like I can't think of any other. I mean, I know there was other women involved, like, but to me, like the top two that stood out as far as the Attitude Era is China and Sable. I mean,
yeah, no.
I mean, I thought Sable was great. I mean, I love Trish too. I can't.
Trish was amazing.
I don't compare. Yeah. I feel like they're separate.
That's what I'm saying. I don't really think. I know Trish was like around, like towards the end, but I don't really think of her as being like in the midst of the Attitude Era. Really.
No, I associate her more
like,
with
do I agree with him? Do I think Trish was a bigger star? Yes, I do. But
as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Sorry, man. That's trash. Like, Sable was fucking huge.
She was
at Sean
fucking
Taylor
everywhere.
10. Yeet the shit out of my show. All right. All right, down to the last two. Okay. Now, this guy was on our show last week, so this guy apparently just has some hot takes. And LSG, this one's for you, probably more particular. Unpopular opinion: wrestling should get back to the classic style with occasional acrobats, no matter the size.
I agree.
Okay.
I fully agree with that. To me, I don't. You take away what makes a cruiserweight special when your main event guys, your heavyweights are doing flips and they're doing suicide dives in every single match. To me, it drives me absolutely nuts. I want to see back to the basics. Back to the basics. You didn't see the Rock and Stone Cold doing suicide dives. You know, and you got to think too, longevity of your career. I think this generation, the guys like my age, they're doing so much. I think in 10 years they're going to be so regretful of not taking care of themselves. And watch, you'll see. I think there's a cycle here. It's going to go back to what it used to be. We're going to have the guys at the top probably a little bit less mobile or not as acrobatic.
Working smarter?
We have.
As my career has gone, I mean, I totally scaled back a lot of that stuff just because I'm learning. I'm like, I look around and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't want to be in pain when I'm older. Like it's just that's logic, you know.
I mean, they call me in our group, I'm the grouchy old man, get off our lawn, because that's how I want my wrestling too. Like I know I'm not mad at the flipping stuff and all that, and like you said, I think it has a place on the card, so you include everybody. But I'm not saying I want every wrestler to just be like John Cena, the 5 moves of doom. But like you said, I don't think everybody should be doing the suicide dives and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially guys that are like 6'4", 250 and shit. Like, you're hurting yourself and could potentially hurt somebody else. Like, how many times we've seen people almost trip on the rope and stuff when they're diving out? Like, I kind of agree with this one.
Fun fact, I've never done a suicide dive. I refuse. I was at training once and a kid, he went through and he clipped his feet and he scorpioned himself. And his legs went up his head. I was like, nope. 450 and stuff like that. No suicide dive.
Dude, first day of training, a kid tries to do a somersault plancha, right? He's been there probably 9 weeks in, right? Guy goes to take it. This kid overshoots. He's 4 feet above the guy's head, and I'm going, oh no. But back to the take, though. Here's my thing. I respect guys like Drew McIntyre's a heavyweight, like Nick Aldis is a heavyweight. Those guys aren't doing somersault planchas over the top rope. They're not trying to go to a 450 or drop an elbow.
Right.
They're working their size because they're heavyweights.
Well, Drew, not to contradict you, but it was really just a couple weeks. Yeah, he does do somersault dives over the top.
Because they've asked him to that. But it's back to LSG's point where I was going.
Sorry.
I don't think those guys should be asked to do that. I think Rollins at 218, 220, that's fine. That's something he's done his whole career. If he chooses to do that, that's fine. But it'd be like the same with Braun Strowman. I don't ever need to see him go over the top. But they need to stop doing that because, as LSG also equated to, it waters down everybody else it's supposed to be special for.
And I mean, on the independent level, it's so bad right now. It's terrible.
LSG, how many dives do you think you see on any given, and this isn't a particular company, but per 3-hour independent show, how many dives do you think you see?
Probably like 15 or so.
Right.
I will count this. I will count on Saturday.
You won't get 15.
I
can assure you.
So good, I do like the heavy guys showing off being agile. I mean, I've said that a lot, but on the other side of the coin, I will say that watching AEW, Luchasaurus scares the piss out of me because. But
here's the thing. Okay, I think Luchasaurus is super athletic. I understand that. Kind of Hero Tope is doing over the top off the second rope, the 1-footer. That's what you're talking about, where he's barely getting his body over, right?
Yeah.
I'll say this. He's super athletic. He's a great worker. I'm not knocking him, but I'll go back and we can close it up. Brock Lesnar had the same athletic ability to do just about anything in 2002, and you didn't see him doing moonsaults. You didn't see him doing somersault planchas. He did the one time. The one
almost
time
killed himself.
He attempted to do a move he shouldn't have at his size. Yeah. What happened? But that's what makes a heavyweight. Like, if Brock did those things, the believability factor's out the window.
That's true. Yeah. All right, so this went the complete opposite direction that I was anticipating, but at Classic Man 1-on-1,
they always give me shit about being the crotchety old man because I'm like, get off my lawn with my wrestling, bro.
Yeah. All right, last one from @PrinceMarcus_27. Nothing as heavy as it was last week's closing ones. Bullet Club should have ended when AJ, Doc, and Carl left for WWE.
No. Trash.
Yeah.
It's all about that.
And you had to think about it for a second. Then trash.
Trash. I know for a fact, I still see it, like, especially with our partnership with Ring of Honor, like, they are money. When they stop throwing money, that's when you end it.
Dude, they got merch in Hot Topic. Like,
that's the thing. It was all after AJ left. Like, they made all that money after AJ left.
Yeah, man.
I like the dynamic, though, with Tama Tonga and Switchblade and shit. Like, I think it's pretty good still. Yeah. What'd you say, LG?
I even like the tension between the old school and the new school members too. Like, there's a lot to go.
Long term.
There's a lot to go still.
Nice. Yeah, let's yeet the shit off this. And then we have a special unpopular opinion that popped up in our chat from the Smackin' It Raw podcast at Matt Ritter. He said, Kyle's the best looking host on the SmackDown pod. No, I'm just playing. He did say that, but that's fucked up. No, he said Big E is the most underutilized former NXT champ on the main roster.
I'm going to say
I don't think that's a hot take at all.
I don't know, because look at the other former NXT champs that are on the main roster and compare them. Like, look at Bo Dallas. He was a former NXT champ, and he went to waste.
But that's it. The rest of them all won the title pretty much.
Trying to see.
Finn,
Samoa Joe,
Seth, Kevin Owens. I mean, but he's still practically there in the main event scene. He's had the other titles. I mean, he's done something. Big E's done nothing but the tag titles.
But here's the thing, right? You can say he's underrated because he's such a special talent.
Yeah.
He can do so many things, right? But New Day as a group has been going on for 6 years now. Printing money in merchandise, popping numbers, selling stuff. So for me, is it really one of those things where he's not doing enough? Because in the history of this business, we look back, and you can take a guy like Demolition Axe, right? He cemented himself as a legend in this business as that group, which wasn't even around as long as this faction, which also helped this new counterculture of WWE. Look what the New Day group did for Kofi in general with the Manias.
Yeah.
I feel that yes, he could do more, but I don't feel at all he's buried.
I don't feel like it. I don't think it was meant so much towards that, for his impact and everything. I just feel like in ring, I don't think we've seen what he's capable of.
Okay.
Because as a group, them culturally, like me personally being a black man and seeing that they're constantly at the top of the card, they sell the most merchandise, and they were literally apart. They were three. I mean, Kofi got shit on a lot, but once they got together and what they've created since then, like that to me is powerful. But I understand what they're saying as far as what we got to see from really Xavier too. We haven't really got to see what either one of them really can do. And to me, I think that they should give one of them a better chance solo-wise. It's like most groups are. You have a tag team, and then you have the main guy out getting the title. I think that they should put Big E out front once they come back and become whole.
I agree. I think it's time. Why not? I feel like they're almost scared of his potential because I think he's going to take off. Like he's going to be.
I think that's what it is too. I think that they're making too much money.
I love Kofi, but I kind of see him as a bigger star than Kofi.
I think the funniest thing with Big E, if you look back to the NXT stuff he did when he was Big E Langston on NXT, it was so entertaining.
5 count.
The 5 count.
Yeah. And then they shut that down for and then they shut it down for 2-3 years. He couldn't be himself. He couldn't be that news reporter, that great guy in the mic, and they shut it down. And then New Day happened. This gimmick that, man, I'll tell you what, I've seen a lot of things that are chicken ass that were turned into just gold, and this was one of them. I don't think that this was one of those things they had any thought that it was
I went to a house show in Cincinnati when they were first starting this, when Xavier was coming out looking like a member of the Nation of Islam and shit. Like this, it was not good. Like it was dope because I was there and got to see it from the ground up and what it became, but it was not in the crowd.
Right.
Booed. It wasn't even booze. Like the crowd was.
They didn't carry on.
You could hear Nat fart in that whole fucking building. It was sold out.
But those 3 talented individuals changed the entire mentality of that group in a matter of less than 6 months, which in WWE was so hard to do.
Hell yeah!
It was one of those.
Which is why they ended up as
turned heel, because it started when they turned heel.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's tough because yes, I think Big E can be a bigger player for the company, but from a star status, like I look at him as a star. Like I look at him as a major player. So I don't know. It's hard for me.
Well, I think, but that's the thing, though. What you're saying is exactly the dichotomy of it. Is that we look at him like a huge star and like a main event player, but he's never been there before, never really had those type of matches.
Underutilized is the question.
Yeah, I think that's the underutilized part.
You think that because they haven't given him that shot? Okay, fair.
All right, man. Matt, I really wanted to fucking eat you, Matt, but quick question, Thomas, because you might have a little bit more insight. I want to say I read somewhere, and honestly, I cannot remember where I saw it, but I think I saw something that says the New Day are the longest running faction in WWE history to not break
WWE,
up. Yeah.
That's nuts.
Matt Ritter says unyeatable.
I need you to remember this, though. When we look at that fact, right, don't take too much into stock into it, because Vince hated, and Vince's father did too, the trios. Like
I hate the trios.
That long. He used them to split up. It was never used to build, per se.
I want to go back to being more than 3 people in a goddamn group. That's what I want to go back to. Like, every group doesn't have to be a trio. Like, I don't understand where this came from. Like, we can have a little odd number or even number here or there.
I think New Day is a tribute to the Freebirds, and I like it. And I love how they've done it, and they let them interchange partners, and they've done it differently, and it's been done for so long now. The cool thing.
But I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about every other faction.
No, I get what you're saying.
All right.
But if you go back, if you want to say, for example, Jungle Express, right?
Yeah.
3-man faction. It works for me. I love every bit of it.
Hey,
I've got Marco. I've got my next big star in Jungle Boy, and I got Lucha as my heavy. Like I like the group.
it's a very good point, but I got to cut us off, man. We are on time. Really quick, our guest LSG over here has another show to do, probably in like 30 seconds. LSG, man, sorry to the guys I couldn't get to all your chats. We all like to talk a lot. That's what happens. LSG, sincerely, man, thank you for being on the show. It's
Thanks so much.
Thank
honor,
you, man.
Go
Appreciate
ahead,
you.
take this time before you head out. Plug anything you want to plug. The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, so like you said before, Saturdays, we've got a huge event with Synergy Pro Wrestling in Hillsborough, New Jersey. There might be limited tickets available. DM the Synergy account if you're interested in going. Well, it's going to be a very controlled environment, safe, fun. I know everybody is excited to get back to work. I'm really excited for the match with Jordan Oliver. And look out for Wrestle Pro Alaska news in September, which is going to be awesome. It'll be live streamed. And let's all hope things get back to normal.
Yeah.
We'll get back to work, guys. I know you guys want to see independent wrestling and live wrestling, and I want to get back to work too. So
yeah, you told me because we had a chance to chat a little bit before today. You told me that since the lockdown, you haven't had any bookings.
Nope. So March 14th was my last match. So I've been just training, working out, and training, eating right.
So many guys.
So
just staying ready.
One more question, or two more questions, if you don't mind. You did mention to me that you are, as of the new year, a free agent. What is your current status with, say, Ring of Honor?
Yeah, so I am a free agent as of January 1st. I am loosely working with Ring of Honor. I'm still affiliated. I was still working with them before the pandemic. I'm still included in a lot of the conversations and things that we're doing as a company. But at the same time, I'm open to any and all opportunities out there, including ones that may be down in Florida.
Yeah, you want to fill us in a little bit?
Keep an eye out next month. We'll see.
Awesome, man.
Little breaking news. Let's go.
Yes. All right. Yeah, I think that's a good place to cut it. Once again, LSG, big thank you to you. You guys also make sure to support Thomas and all the other guys at WrestlingNewsWorld.com. Subscribe. Make that your homepage. Get on those premium articles, and then if you're not too busy checking out AEW, you can check out RN's show, NXT recaps.
Hashtag Smacked NXT. We'll shout you out on the show.
Yes, sir. But like always, until next time, you guys, y'all have a good one.
Thank you, guys.